First glimpse of Eddie Knight in prison on Eastenders as he strikes a devastating blow to George, who is in mourning. After Eddie Knight, a pensioner, was found guilty of the historic murder of George's real father, Henry Kofi Asare, Eastenders has provided the first glimpse of the prisoner. George Knight will experience even more anguish at the hands of his adopted father Eddie in the BBC One episodes airing next week. George is overcome with grief with the unexpected death of Gloria Knight, having spent some poignant last minutes in the hospital with his adopted mother. Gloria passed away while clutching George's face after having a heart attack during Eddie's murder trial. She was taken to the hospital but was unable to recover. After she passes away, George does not contact his son Junior, whom he has estranged, to inform him of the news before Eddie phones him from prison. Eddie calls a meeting with his adopted son George to talk about his wife Gloria, but the two get into a heated argument and savage exchange of insults. Read more. Eastenders gives Eddie Knight's jail cell a hard look as George makes an unexpected demand. After learning that Eddie has forbidden George from going to Gloria's funeral, a dejected George returns to the underground boxing club. Phil Mitchell, a friend, stops him and begs George not to fight. George is knocked out as a result of his refusal to listen. He goes to Phil's apartment to sleep it off and wakes up beaten and broken. Along with his stunned daughters Gina and Anna, Molly Rainford, George is horrified to discover his condition when he gets home, but he lies and tells Elaine Peacock that he was jumped. Later on, George tries to gain some ground on Eddie, but he stumbles and falls again. When George storms out, Elaine chooses not to step in, but his ex-wife Cindy Beale is quite concerned and approaches Phil to find out where he's headed. When Phil and Cindy get at the boxing club, the bouncers won't let George in. To chat, Cindy brings him to the boxing Denver. According to a recent fan hypothesis, Eddie attacked Gloria on Eastenders. Gloria lost consciousness outside the courtroom to Eddie's trial began on Tuesday night's Eastenders episode, with George failing to provide a legal defense for his father. Gloria fled the courtroom after the day's tension, but George soon discovered her unconscious on the ground. According to a recent fan theory on Eastenders, Eddie was the reason behind Gloria's downfall. Gloria on Eastenders fell apart. George went to Walford yesterday evening with his family to watch Eddie's court trial. George got up and told the story of what he saw the night his biological father was killed, refusing to stand up for Eddie. He described how, as a little boy, he used to hide under the gym mats at the boxing ring and watch Henry attempt to get away. George continued by saying that Eddie had been the one who had cornered Henry, even though he wasn't aware of this at the time. Gloria struggled to handle the pressure when George's initial remarks, in which he took Eddie's side, were mentioned. As George emerged from the courtroom, he saw Gloria on the ground, pleading for assistance while Anna called for an ambulance. Fan hypothesis for Eastenders: did Eddie assault Gloria? A new fan theory contends that Eddie brought Gloria to her knees in an attempt to quiet her when Eddie learned that Gloria had urged George not to stand up for him in court. Oh, Gloria might be a goner. Did Eddie push her down as soon as they were out the door, goes the fan hypothesis. However, is it possible that Eddie hurt his own wife in an attempt to protect himself in court? Will Gloria be alright? According to Eastenders spoilers for the remainder of the week, Gloria had a heart attack and wakes up in the hospital. Then, before George goes back to the hospital, she asks him to get something from her apartment so they can listen to a taped lullaby from his birth mother together. Can George and Gloria, however, eventually find harmony in their relationship? HOB nobbing after Walford's departure, former Eastender Toby Alexander Smith hangs out with Hollywood's elite while filming a murder mystery. That followed his wife's admission of marital difficulties. On the set of his latest film, a former Eastender is mixing it up with the elite of show business. During a break between rehearsals, Toby Alexander Smith, who played Gray Atkins in Albert Square, snapped a selfie with the truly wonderful performer. After 3 years, the 33-year-old actor left the BBC soap opera to focus on his role as a full-time father. After 2 years, Tony, who was born in Lichfield, is acting in the new film Murder Between Friends with none other than Dame Joan Collins, 90. He's spotted taking a picture outside a large stately home with the actress, who looks effortlessly stylish in a cream straw hat and pullover. His wife Amy and their daughter Bonnie were seen joining them in a second picture. Toby wrote, on set working with the truly wonderful, in his caption, Bonnie was astounded as well. Toby's character is still being developed and is not yet fully developed in the film. Nonetheless, Prague has been the site of some filming. We revealed earlier this year that he would be appearing in a film adaptation of Jane Austen. Toby portrayed Mr. Bingley in the Pride and Prejudice movie, which is a modern interpretation. Warm farewell. In 2022, Toby left Albert Square. His deranged serial murderer persona was ultimately apprehended by law enforcement and removed. Currently receiving a life sentence, Gray is responsible for the deaths of Tina Carter, Kush Kazemi, and his wife Chantel. At the time, Toby disclosed his off-screen plans to The Sun in an exclusive interview. Changing diapers, using breast pumps, and probably not getting any sleep, he remarked. Everything is well. I'm savoring every moment of having this time to myself right now, spending it with Amy and Bonnie. I'm very happy to just be a full-time dad right now, but who knows what's around the corner. Fear of fans. As for Amy, the Emmerdale actress, her admission this month of having relationship issues with Toby alarmed fans. The actress, who portrayed Tracy Robinson in The Dales, wed the 33-year-old villain from EastEnders, Toby, in August in a sun-filled Montenegro. Amy, 37, said on Lorraine that her husband's unpredictable work schedule has made their marital life difficult. I've barely seen him since we got married, so we do feel like newlyweds, she said to Christine Lampard, the stand-in host. In the big scheme of things, our relationship is still very new and fresh, but it becomes crazy when you add a toddler and work responsibilities to the mix. Nevertheless, we're making an effort to spend some quality time together. It's challenging. Amy confessed that she and Toby have been like passing ships and that the wedding was the last instance of a quiet time the family had spent together. Then I went full throttle into a massive storyline, she said. It has been difficult and has been like that consistently. I hardly saw either of them before he flew to Bulgaria to shoot a film. There is no family nearby to assist me. Though difficult, you succeed. The couple met in the Strictly Come Dancing crowd in 2019 and have been together for 4 years. In December 2021, their daughter Bonnie was born. Danielle Harold, an Eastender, will be back on television tonight for a soap opera special. She challenges the Lies Bridge. Danielle Harold, a former cast member of EastEnders, will be back on television on Saturday night for a Celebrity Bridge of Lies soap opera on BBC One. In the most recent episode of the game show, Danielle, best known for her time on I'm a Celebrity and her portrayal of Lola Pierce on Walford, competes against well-known characters from Coronation Street, Emmerdale, and Hollyoaks. Simon Gregson of Coronation Street, Chris Bisson of Emmerdale, Lucy Jo Hudson, a former Hollyoaks star, and Danielle put aside their rivalry in soap operas and faced the renowned Bridge as a team. Naturally, there's also another soap opera tie, Ross Kemp, a former Eastender, hosts Bridge of Lies. Danielle, you've had a massive storyline in EastEnders, Ross asks, alluding to the terrible death storyline of Lola. It must have been difficult saying goodbye to Lola. Danielle responds, yeah, that was rather challenging. A large-scale family narrative. Actually, I was anticipating my Uncle Grant's visit, but... Joking, Uncle Grant? I believe he was most likely preparing cocktails on a Portuguese beach. Or sipping them. Last week saw the return of Celebrity Bridge of Lies for a brand new 8-part season. In the high-stakes game program, Ross assists in guiding celebrity teams across an interactive studio floor bridge. In order to avoid losing the game, contestants are advised to tread on the truths and stay away from the lies. I have such a brilliant time filming the daytime version of Bridge of Lies, but there's something about the celebrity series that ramps up the jeopardy, Ross stated in a recent interview. Maybe it's because the celebrities are volunteering for charity, or maybe it's just that they have a reputation to maintain. The rivalry is more intense than ever and the series this year is full with well-known figures. Pop stars, soap opera stars, and comedians leave their typical rivalries at the door because, as this show has taught us, teamwork is the only way to cross a bridge. But let's not forget, celebrities, it's Saturday night, so let's enjoy ourselves as well.